Good afternoon, class. My name is Renee Martinez, and for my adolescent health issue, I will be focusing on sexual consent. For my objectives, students will be able to learn the meaning of sexual consent. Students will be able to prevent sexual assault. Students will be able to learn the consequences of rape and sexual assault. Students will be able to report to authorities when they are raped or sexual assault. Here's a quick video.
Consent is the most important part of sex, because without consent, it isn't sex.
It's rape or sexual assault.
You and your partner must agree that you both want to have sex. Both of you have to be completely up for it.
You can't bully, trick, threaten, or pressure someone into consenting.
And if someone's drunk, asleep, or passed out,
they can't legally give consent at all.
You need to get consent every time you have sex. None of us are mind readers, so just ask and really listen.
Ask things like, is this what you want?
Is this okay?
Do you want to keep going?
If they consent, you will hear things like, yes, keep going.
But if they say no,
can we slow down?
I guess, if you want to.
Or if they don't say anything at all.
Stop. Just stop.
Legally, consent can't exist if it's not communicated by words or actions.
And no means there is no consent.
So talk to your partner.
Check in. Anyone can change their mind.
If your partner withdraws consent and you keep going,
it stops being sex.
And it becomes rape or assault.
Because no one owes you sex, and everyone always has the right to say no. It doesn't matter how much you want it,
What they're wearing.
If they've had sex with you before,
Or if they've had sex with other people before.
Consent isn't just a box that you tick. It's part of having sex.
It's not that complicated.
You just need to ask. Because without consent, it stops being sex.
it's right.
And you don't want to be that person.
So, what exactly is sexual consent? Sexual activities need consent. Some activities, for example, are touching, kissing, or sexual intercourse. Both partners need to agree to sexual activity. It is illegal to give consent if you are drunk or asleep. It's basically saying yes or no, and it has to be respected. Why is it important? It's important because in adolescence, teaching students K through 12, many of the students during the middle school years are going through the puberty stage. It is important to educate the students about sex and consent. They begin to have higher sex drive, and they begin at the high school level to engage in sexual activities. Here are some graphs and stats of sexual consent. In one of the sources that I researched, it said 1 in 5 high school girls have been sexually assaulted. 1 in 15 students have been physically forced to have sexual intercourse. Before 18, 8% of girls have been raped or attempted to rape in high school. In this graph over here to the right, it shows that the age before 18, 42% of the victims were sexually assaulted. That's why it's important to keep the students knowledgeable about sexual consent. How can teachers help? Teachers can have a lesson on sexual education, which includes sexual consent. Provide support and safe environment. If there is any type of report done to the teacher, we as teachers need to step up and help the students. To identify, prevent, and report sexual violence, we need to be able to teach them about it so they could be able to know what to do when they see or if something is done to them. The effects of rape and sexual assault. This leads to short and long-term emotional and psychological effects such as depression, anxiety, substance abuse, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorders, which is a big deal for the long time in the long term for anyone. The abuser can also face prison time, and we want to educate our students to decrease the number of abusers. To end the rape culture, like the picture says to the right, we must create a consent culture. So, overall, for my conclusion, yes means yes and no means no. Respect the decision. Here are my references where I got all this information, and thank you for listening.